Monday, September 8th, 1800, 10 a.m., at the home of Captain John. Present, as on Saturday, Captain William Claus, Acting Deputy Superintendent General, Lieutenant Givens, Agent, Indian Affairs, Lieutenant McQueen, Queen's Rangers, Mr. David Price, Interpreter, Mr. Nathaniel Lyons, Interpreter, Mr. Ferguson, Kingston, P. Selby, Assistant Secretary, Indian Affairs, the chiefs and others of the Mohawk Indians residing there, Lieutenant Fortier. Captain Isaac desired to speak again.
The Great Spirit has again permitted us to meet this day. We have been holding this council several days, and you have heard a variety of stories, some concerning war and some concerning troubles. I am not going to tell you of my war exploits, as you come on another business. It has been said I was driven away from the Grand River before I came here. I will relate how that matter really stands. The reason of my coming was that I was called down by Captain John, telling me this was a very good place, and if I would come down he would be happy together. Captain John's people told me that Sir John Johnson had said he would be glad if I would come and join Captain John's party at this place. And these letters will confirm what I say to be true.
Captain Isaac delivers 2 letters written in the Mohawk tongue.
I would rather by choice have remained at the Grand River, but I came in consequence of these friendly invitations. I found the place very pleasant, and the greatest friendship among the Indians of the village. About 3 or 4 months after I came here, various stories were going about which altered matters very much, but I paid no attention to them, imagining, as I had so many friends, nothing of consequence could happen. About a year after, I began to think there were a number of people telling stories of me, and whenever any of the people of the village behaved improperly, Captain John was always very rough with them and threatening them. And when he assembled the village, he said that he thought proper and told them to abide by what he said. One day while Captain John was holding a council, Abraham Green got up and said something in opposition to the mode directed for placing the benches of the church, on which Captain John desired him to be silent and struck him. Brother, you know Captain John told you I never came to council nor paid any attention to it. Captain John also told you that Thomas the fiddler and the Frenchman Paulus were always making disturbances. When the money had been got at Albany and the people found they were to get none of it, they were dissatisfied and it caused great confusion. About this time, Lawrence's widow came and told me that Captain John's conduct was such as to have him put aside. Some of the people advised to drop the thoughts of this for the present and try if matters would not mend and things go on better hereafter. She still persisted in it and insisted that Captain John should be set aside and another person appointed in his room. The Wolf tribe then appointed Thomas the fiddler, chief in the room of Captain John, and 3 strings of wampum was produced as a speech of Lawrence's wife when he was made chief by the tribe. Old Lawrence and his wife often threatened to kill Captain John, but I always told them to be quiet. After this, the Lawrence's family left me and went to Captain John's party and threatened me as they'd done Captain John before.
Captain Isaac, on being asked the reason why the Lawrences changed so often, continued.
It was because Lawrences thought, while they were at Lachine, that I did not obtain from Sir John Johnson more things than he got. We then lost our friendship, and we have been enemies ever since. When the church was completed, all the people who lived near it were very happy and attended it regularly. Those at a distance did not attend, among which numbers I am one. After services one Sunday, Captain John said to the people, "You see how well we are provided with a church. I have done the whole of this, and none have assisted me. I was also the means of getting all the Indian lands here. Last fall, when the presents were brought up by Mr. Louis, a dispute arose about the mode of dividing the presents. A parcel of kettles were at the outside of the tent of Captain John, put them on one side, saying, 'These will be divided by and by.' I then went and took them and carried them among my own people, on which Captain John struck me with a stick and afterward drew his knife. That was the reason I was so angry and shook my tomahawk. I have nothing more to say on that subject. Captain John mentioned the other day he did not like to see blood spilt. But when we were at Fort Hunter many years ago, Captain John killed a nephew of mine while he was in liquor. The village then came to a resolution to kill Captain John, who was my brother-in-law. I advised them to wait until the matter would be taken into consideration, but they disregarded me until I brought Mr. Stewart to my assistance and we settled the matter. We then sent for Captain John and told him the business was settled and he might make himself easy. I strove hard to save him then, and he is now endeavoring to kill me if he can. This is all I have to say, although I could say a great deal more, but it would be tedious and unsatisfactory.
Was Sir John Johnson informed of the purpose of your council with the 7 nations of Canada?
Yes, Sir John Johnson was present. It was on account of the dispute about lands with the Gotnawagas.
And who is this miracle who lives among you?
A Swede by birth, he has been 3 or 4 times taken prisoner by the Indians in different wars, and was at length taken from the Gotnawagas by his relations when they went with him to the States to sell furs. After that he ran away from his friends and has voluntarily lived with our people ever since.
Did you not lately receive some wampum from Moses Johnson sent to you by Cutnose Brant?
Yes.
Then say what the message was.
Mose Johnson gave me the wampum by desire of Cutnose Brant, who sent his respects to the Bear tribe and hoped they would take good care of themselves. He hoped there would be no disturbances in the village and that there would be peace and quietness. He said he heard there was much trouble in our village and that they were unseemingly happy, which he was sorry for. He said they know Captain Isaac had been the occasion of a great crime being lately committed among us, and that matter would probably be taken into consideration. Bye-bye.
I will now speak to the 2 parties separately, as it is my wish and the instructions of the governor to make peace among them and to see them renew their former friendship.
Captain John desired to speak a few more words.
Brother, with regards to my having said I've heard any person for the placing the sawmill, it is not true. The principal part of what Isaac has said has come from the women, and when old Lawrence came to speak about the sawmill, I said I had no objection to it. There was one place only which was wanted for the good of the village, and they might take all the rest. Captain Isaac and his people got tired of reading the same prayers over and over again in church, and in council said they would make new prayers of their own, which surprised me much, knowing when the minister heard it, he would throw us all away. I told them so in church and desired them to let it alone until they saw whether it met Mr. Stewart's approbation. I then told Captain Isaac and his party they hold too many councils on no good principles and that the women cause these councils to be held. I also told them to look up to their great father and everything would go well. But if you mean to make books and prayers for yourselves, I will never approve of it or have anything to do with it. On the 27th July, 1798, Mr. Stewart was here, and we went to the church. After church, we assembled in this house by desire of Mr. Stewart, who said he would endeavor to make peace and quietness among us. This was about the money. So much had been said about it. On hearing what Mr. Stewart said, Captain Isaac got very angry, and I expected he would fall upon me in the house. At this time, Lawrence did not pay any attention to Captain Isaac with regard to the money, which enraged him very much. And he said that I put a stop to everything which could be useful to the poor. I then told Captain Isaac I was as good as a man as he was, and was ready to settle the business with him directly. You seem to endeavor to all of the mischief you can. If you are a man, let us decide the business at once, and then there will be peace and quietness. On which Captain Isaac retired and stood back. This was all in the presence of Mr. Stewart. Brother, I have always strove to be of the greatest use to the village, little expecting such treatment. It was on the principle I did not wish to have any liquor sold in the village as long as I had any influence. After Mr. Stewart had spoke some time, Captain Isaac got up and acknowledged he was a bad man and never would repent, and that he never would stop the selling of liquor, as long as the town of Kingston shall last, as by that means the place will get rich. Now we see that by selling of liquors a family has been destroyed. Brother, you have now heard all I have to say, and you have also heard all parties. I hope you will fulfill General Hunter's wishes.
Captain John and his party withdraw, and Captain Claus addresses Captain Isaac.
Brothers, we have patiently attended to all that has been said, and there appears reason to believe that both parties have been greatly to blame. You began with accusing Captain John with receiving $500, which he did not account for, but you took a most improper method to bring him to account. You should have gone to the king's officers, who have the care of you, and justice would have been done you. The method you took was the most improper, and calculated to defeat the end. You threatened to burn his house and destroy his cattle. You also appointed Thomas the Fiddler a chief of the Wolf tribe. Among yourselves that may be, but I was present when the king placed Captain John here as head of the village, and no one but the same authority can displace him. If he had complied with your demands in delivering up the things committed to his charge, he would have deserved to be displaced, but he properly refused it. If an application had been made sooner to the officers of the department, all the mischief which has happened might have been prevented, but both parties have been greatly to blame. And until the person who is placed here by the king forfeits the confidence reposed in him, he cannot be displaced by anyone. He was put here as the principal person of the village, and must remain so. Although the governor has been pleased to place me at the head of the department in this province, yet it is not in my power to displace him. If he acts wrong, all I can do is to report it. I came here, as I told you before, to endeavor to accommodate your differences. The Great Spirit is looking down on us, and sees all your actions, and he observes you are only destroying yourselves by your disagreements and quarrels. I therefore ask you whether you are willing to come to an accommodation, and live in the manner you formerly did. We have sat patiently, and heard everything both parties had to say. If therefore you now agree to bury everything that has been said, your minds will be easy, and all will be well. I therefore recommend to you again most strongly to agree to an accommodation. You must do so. It is impossible for you to live otherwise, and you must be informed that by a contrary conduct, and if you do not agree to this, then the governor will put you aside, and have nothing more to say to them who refuse this advice. I shall tell Captain John the same, and I persuade myself you will consider the propriety of it, and when I know that, I will speak further to you. With regard to the $500, Captain John has fairly accounted for the whole, but 163. And with regard to these same lands, it appears to you, Isaac, and Captain Aaron, had received your share before. The $163 remaining, I will see and endeavor what can be done about it. But if recovered, it must be divided among the whole village. I now only want to know your sentiments. I am sure it is unnecessary to press it, and where you have both agreed, we will endeavor to bind you so together that nothing of this kind shall happen again. I shall exactly repeat the same words to the other party.
After Captain Claus and the other gentlemen has retired for some time, a messenger was sent to say that they had agreed on what to say. Captain Isaac then said,
Brother, you told us it was not proper to take Captain John cattle on account of the money. True, it was not right, and I went down and laid the matter before Sir John Johnson, who answered it was not just, and he would endeavor to get us righted. Having received no satisfaction, we wrote down to Sir John the following winter. Captain John went down about the same time, and we soon afterwards received an answer from Sir John desiring us to remain quiet, for that he had not had time to look into the business, but he imagined the chief part of the money had been spent on the road and in drink. I answered Sir John's letter, and told him I would follow his advice and endeavor to keep peace in the village. I believe, as you have said, that both parties have been to blame. He also said when you took the whole matter into consideration that you would not speak from your lips but from your heart. It will take us a little time to form a determination on what to do in so good a cause. Sensible, the Great Spirit is looking at us. We, the Turtle, Wolf, and Bear tribes, have consulted among ourselves and have come to a resolution never again to breed any disturbance in the village, and are now from our hearts determined that nothing hereafter shall be done without consent of the whole village. Should any kind of news arrive among us, the whole shall be assembled, and the whole village made acquainted with it. Should any of us in future hear any bad news, it shall go into one ear and out the other, for we will pay no attention to it. Whatever may happen, I shall never in future open my mouth to insult anyone if I am sober. We will take the good advice you have been pleased to give us, and I hope the like confusion will never happen again among us. You are all here representing the king, and your advice is so good we must follow it. If you had not come, we should have remained longer in a bad situation. We have determined on the business, and I think the matter well settled, and have nothing further to say.
Brother, we have been listening to you attentively for 8 days, and it gives me great satisfaction to hear the determination you have come to. You have been in opposite parties all this time, but as I shall hope to meet you tomorrow at noon, I shall rejoice to see you meet in a different manner, where this determination shall be repeated, leaving out that part respecting the money, as enough has been said on that subject already, and nothing shall be said to irritate.
Adjourned till tomorrow noon, 9th September.